I want to start off by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, sham, Yahawashi, sham Kakodash. Giving thanks to our Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son. Thanking Him for another day, another breath of life, another opportunity to be out here on the highways. I want to bring out a lesson today. The title of this lesson is going to be Passport Bros. Proves that we are the Israelites. Passport Bros proves that we are indeed the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Now, ever since the Garden of Eden, there has been a kind of rivalry between the man and the woman, the male and the female. Fast forward to the 1960s, and you had the movement of the so-called feminists, where the so-called black woman took on the mantra of, I don't need a man. Fast forward to 2022, 2023, we have something called the Passport Bros. The Passport Bros proves that we are the Israelites. What we're going to come to find out is that the decay of the relationships between so-called black men and black women is indicative of the decay of our relationship, of the 12 tribes of Israel's relationship with the Most High God Himself, Yahawah. And so, the final destruction of a people before total annihilation is causing them to hate one another, particularly the male and the female, which prevents them from forming families and just being able to be a cohesive unit. It's just divide and conquer. So the first precept I want to get is Jeremiah chapter 3. Verse 14 says, Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you. And I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. So the Lord said that He is married to us. So the children of Israel are likened unto His bride. You see? Let's get Ezekiel 16 now. Ezekiel chapter 16. And I'm going to start with the first verse. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Lord power unto Jerusalem, Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite. As for thy nativity, in the day that thou wast born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou wast not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pitied thee, to do any of these unto thee, to have any compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out in the open to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou wast born. It goes on, and when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yeah, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. See that? goes on in verse 9. Then I washed thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. And it goes on to say how he decked us with silver and gold, put fine linen on us, until we were beautiful. It says, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And then thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through thy comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord power. So we were nothing. Nobody was paying us any mind. The Lord came along and he nurtured and nourished us, and we became beautiful as a result of his husbandry. Then it goes on in verse 15. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedest the harlot because of thy renown, and pouredest out thy fornications on every one that passed by. His it was. So the minute we got beautiful, we started looking down on our husband, Yahawah, Yahawashi. And we said it's because of our beauty why we were renowned. We got proud. You see that? It says, and of thy garments thou didst take, and decked thy high places with divers colors, and playedest a harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come, neither shall it be so. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. How we played harlot with the other nations and followed them, and forgot about our husband, Yahawah, Yahawashi. You know? In similar fashion, our woman has gotten proud over us, and has played the harlot with all these other men. You know? I'm gonna get I think Ezekiel 15. Let's see. Let's get to Hosea chapter 1. Hosea chapter 1, I'm going to start with the first verse. Is that what I want? Let's see here. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 3, the first verse. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord. See that? So Israel fell apart, fell away from the Most High, and went and followed other gods, followed other nations in their fornication, worshipping strange gods who our fathers knew not. And the Lord likens that to a whore going away from her husband and cheating on her man. And the Lord asked, will a wife get taken back again by a husband who she went off and played the harlot with other lovers? Shall he receive her again? Shall not that land or her body and her mind be greatly polluted? It says, yet that's what you did to me, ye sons and daughters of Israel. Let's jump down to verse 6 now. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up on every high mountain, and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. You see, and that's speaking about when the northern kingdom went off and followed false gods. And even though the southern kingdom stayed back in Jerusalem, we still went off and followed false gods as well. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and stocks. You see that? So we were worshipping stones and stocks, just like those brothers in Islam worshipping the Kaaba stone to this very day. Verse 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married to you, like we read about earlier. The Lord is our husband and he's married to us, but we went off and cheated on him. You understand? Let's get Micah 7 now. Because our relationships are totally destroyed now because of our transgression against the Most High. This is Micah 7. I'm going to start with verse 2. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net, that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward. And the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchmen and thy visitation cometh. Now shall be their perplexity. Verse 5. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoureth the father. The daughter riseth up against her mother. The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My power will hear me. You see? So the children of Israel are at a point now where we don't have no community, man. The Passport Bros is a movement where so-called black men are saying, you know, to hell with the so-called black woman in America. We're going to travel overseas and find women that are more agreeable to our desires, you know. Women who want to be submissive and feminine, because our relationships in the West are totally destroyed. But the reason for that is because we broke our covenant with the Most High. I'm going to get the proof of that down in Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to just get verse 15 first. It says, But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And the curses I want to focus on for this lesson are found in verse 54 to 57. It says, So that the man that is tender among you, and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. You see that? So part of the curses that we are under is that our relationships will be destroyed. And it took us a while, but we can safely say today in 2023 that the relationships between the so-called black man and the black woman in America and the Caribbean and all wherever we are scattered is totally destroyed. So much so that there's a movement called Passport Bros, where these men are going abroad, traveling on planes to try to escape the curses. But you can't escape them. We have become such a mockery on this planet, it's not even funny, man. These other nations, they don't have no problems like what we have. There's no so-called white woman or Chinese woman or Indian woman or Arab woman talking about, I don't need a man. That's the dumbest statement any woman could ever make. It's asinine. You don't need a man, really? You came out of a man. Let's get that in Hebrews 7 and 10, I think it is. Even men need men. You dummy. This is Hebrews 7 and 10. Maybe start with verse 9. And as I may so say, Levi also, who received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. You see that? He was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. There's a scripture which says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew thee. I think it's in Jeremiah, but I'm not going to look for it. All right? So, before he formed us in the womb, he knew us because we were in the loins of our father. So, all you women talking about you don't need a man, you were in the loins of your father before you were anything, man, in the material world. Anyway, this is Psalms chapter 44, verse 14. It says, Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. When people see us and the way we operate, especially online where we broadcast our dysfunction, man, there's so much dysfunction online between the so-called black community. There's complete genres. There's people making millions of dollars just commenting on the dysfunction that our people put up online for everybody to see. You know? The fastest growing genre in the world as far as content is concerned in our community is the so-called black manosphere and the so-called black feminist movement, man. We have become a shaking of the head among the people. They just shake their head, man. And a byword. And when you look up the word for byword, I think the word there in Hebrew is shenina or something like that, which means a sharp cutting word or like a taunt. You know, that's what we have become. Let's get another precept for that. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. It says, And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. You see? All these curses have come upon us because of our whoredom against the Most High living power and his Son. So that all women playing the whoredom on us now, man. Let's get 2 Chronicles chapter 7. Second Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 20. It says, Then I will pluck them up by the roots out of my land which I have given them. And this house which I have sanctified for my name will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. You see that? The title of this lesson is Passport Bros Prove That We Are the Children of Israel. I want to get Isaiah chapter 62 now. This is not going to be a very long lesson, Lord willing. Isaiah chapter 62, starting with the first verse. Because even though we have been cast off, the Lord is going to gather us again. Even though He scattered us, He's going to gather us again. Let me get that in Jeremiah 31. I think it's verse 10. Because our captivity and our curse is about to be lifted, man. This is Jeremiah 31, verse 10. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. Because soon from now, the Israelite man ain't gonna have to be no passport bro to get a submissive woman. Soon from now, the women are gonna be running us down, man, like in the droves, like it talk about in Isaiah 4:1. Which says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. And some soft cat Israelites like to try and say, oh, that doesn't mean they're going to be sexually involved with the men and all of this and all of that. You know. But think about it, right? It's either that men are going to have multiple women, the way the Creator designed it from the beginning, or women are going to have multiple men. It's one of the two. So which one is going to be esteemed in the Most High's sight? It says 7 women shall take hold of one man. And that word 7, or that number 7, is just a symbolic number of completion. Let's get Isaiah chapter 13. Is it 3 and 12? Let me just see. Isaiah 13 and 12 now. Because the Lord is going to, the same way the Lord is going to raise up Yahawashi and we're going to be a faithful bride to Him, the Lord is also going to raise up His elect men and make us more precious and gold. And all the women of all the nations are going to be our breeding stock. And if you don't like it, well, you know, you're going to have to find another Bible and another Creator and another universe to exist in, because that's what's going on. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man more than the golden wedge of Ophir. You see? The Lord is about to raise up His standard, man, and His standard are the elect men. That's how the Lord has always shown His glory in this earth, by raising up Israelite man to be above all nations where he was created to be. Anyway, let's go back to Isaiah 62 now and read from verse 1 on down. It says, for Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and that salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory, and thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. So if the Gentiles are going to see our glory, that means they're not going to be glorified, man. That's just one of many verses that show you that the children of Israel are indeed the chosen people, and salvation is for them, because it says the Gentiles shall see our righteousness and our glory. It goes on. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of the Most High. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, Neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. See that? Goes back to us being bride of the Most High Son, Yahawashi. It says, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, so shall the Most High rejoice over thee. You see that? I have set watchmen upon the walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. And Lord willing, I'm one of those watchmen. Glorifying the Lord and exalting his name. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Not Jesus Christ or any of these fake gods that y'all are calling on, man. The elder apostle Tahar brought out a recent video saying that when you call on those names, Jesus Christ and all of that, you bring in curses upon yourself, and I concur. It's high time to wake up out of sleep, man. Like you talk about in Romans 13:11. This is John 17:6 now. Let's just get that real quick. Because you have to know the true name. If you know the truth. This is John 17:6. These are the words of Yahawashi. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. So if he manifested the name of the Most High to the men that he was given by the Most High, then the men are going to know his name. Now we do know his name. We bring out many lessons and always exalt his name. Yahawah Yahawashi. So you better learn that name. Verse 7 of Isaiah 62 verse 7, it says, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. And it goes on. You see, the Lord is going to be changing up everything on this planet soon, man. And instead of men running down women, and traveling to the east, the west, the north, and the south to find these women who are submissive, we ain't going to have to do none of that, man. I want to close off with Revelation chapter 21 now. Just to hammer in the point that we are his bride. And that the same way we are glorified through him, our women are also going to be glorified through us. Revelation 21, starting with the first verse. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. See that? And it goes on. It goes on to talk about the glory of his bride. So the title of this lesson is Passport Bros Prove That We Are the Israelites. And I think that the point has been made. So we want to give our praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakwadash. And with that, we say Shalom.